Hey everybody, happy Sunday. I hope that wherever you are and whatever you are doing, you are safe, you are well, and you are with people you care about who also care for you. Before I get into today's Sunday musing, I just want to acknowledge Mr. Ghost, one of my border collies, has decided that he's very angry that Mummy came outside and did not take him. So he's now barking with protest. So if you hear barking noises, that'll be Mr. Ghost. He's fine. He's had pets. He's had his walk. He wants to be where Mummy is. And it's kind of difficult to film because he just continually brings you toys. He's not the kind of dog just to lie down at your feet. So that's where the barking comes from. Anyway, what a week it's been, eh? I should probably stop saying that at the beginning of every Sunday musing because I feel like I'm just repeating myself all the time. But it has been another interesting week here. And the less said about that, the better. If you haven't watched our channel update on the main channel, please go and watch it because it explains some of the things that have been going on behind the scenes that have been, leading to some extra stress for everybody, but also leading to some long-term planning changes that are going to be happening on the channel. And obviously with the price of oil remaining incredibly high, today's Sunday musing is one that is focused around a topic that I've actually had to broach a couple of times this week from different friends who are considering buying an EV. And that is, how do I go about charging it if I don't own my own home? Now, Vi is very open about the fact that without having access to charging here at the studio, Vi thinks that owning an EV where they live would be really difficult because there's no EV charging at their apartment. Their garage, although they have one, does not have any kind of power in it. So you can't even do like a 110 charging session. There's just nothing. And with a car like the Bolt EV, you really do need to have access to level 2 charging because fast charging with the older generation Bolt EVs, less so with the new ones, of course, can be kind of expensive. But also this week, my daughter has been looking for a car, right? My daughter passed her driving test. Yay. And she is now on the lookout for a new car. And for whatever reason, probably because I do this for a living, she doesn't want an EV. She would maybe consider a plug-in hybrid or a range extended EV, but she doesn't want an EV. And she's been sending me lots of gas cars. And my response has been, well, this brand is okay. This brand is okay. But I've also been working really hard to let her know just how much it's going to cost her at the moment to drive a gasoline vehicle. I mean, she's an adult, right? She's 20 something, 23. She's 23 this year. Oh my God. No, she's 24. 24 this year. My daughter is 24 this year. Holy heck. How did that happen? Anyway. Is she 24 or is she 23? I honestly cannot remember now. Anyway, she's old. She's in her 20s. She has a job. That's how she's going to be able to buy a car. And, she pointed out she doesn't have charging where she lives either. So, which kind of got me to the point of what is right to charging looking like where you live, right? So in some parts of the world, it is now considered a requirement that if you are a landlord or a leasing agency, as is more commonly the case here in the US, and someone comes along and says, hey, I've got an EV, I need to be able to charge it, they have to make reasonable accommodations for that request. And it's loosely termed right to charge, right? You have an EV, you have a right to charge it at your home and pay less to fuel it by charging it at home rather than charging it in an expensive public charging space or an expensive fast charger, which requires you to spend a lot of time away from home. And I know that different countries have different rules about that and different municipalities have different rules about that, but I'd love to know what the laws are where you are. So I know in Oregon and Washington, there is some accommodation that is implicit in the code of the state that says, hey, if someone wants to charge an EV and they're renting a place from you, you must accommodate their request, but you can charge whatever you want for the installation of the charging station. And so what we have here in the Pacific Northwest is very often landlords go, of course you can have a charging station. That will be $3,000, please. And most people leasing, renting, they kind of go, you what, mate? No, thanks. You're going to put up my rent every year. You're going to make my life difficult. And that's not necessarily a good thing for people. And that's not a good feeling for people to have. So, I know that, I know of someone actually who works for me who said, yeah, I could ask for a charging station, but they're going to make my life really complicated if I do that. They're going to make it so expensive, I wouldn't necessarily want to do it. And I would love to know if that's the case where you live, or if your local city or state is like, new buildings must have EV charging spots, or at least provision for EV charging, and you must be able to accommodate it in some way or other. I would hope that we're going to see more of that moving forwards, especially with the price of oil staying high, especially with the knock-on effects of that for gasoline and diesel. And I know that interest in EVs is on the rise. And I hope that certainly in the US, come the midterms, we're going to start to see some more progressive policies come back. Progressive policies that go, yeah, you know, fossil fuels are kind of bad for us socially and also environmentally and also from a health perspective. And wouldn't it be nice if we all had better public transit, more accessible transportation and also electric vehicles? And maybe then people will feel the pull to go in that way. Politically, 2026 has taught me just how far many companies will go to not draw the ire of whoever is in control. And it makes me really sad. Like, capitalism seems to half of the time now be, what does the guy in charge, or if you're more progressive in other parts of the world, what does the woman in charge want my country to have? And if it's EVs, then you might see companies lean towards EVs, especially if they can get tax breaks from it. But if it's fossil fuels and it's drill baby drill and it's, you know, stop making those silly insert expletive EVs, then they'll do it. And yes, Ford, I'm looking directly at you. I am so disappointed with Ford. I have a video coming on that, by the way. I can't describe how angry I am with that company right now. Will it mean I'll get rid of my F-150? Probably not. I like my F-150 Lightning. It's a very useful, practical vehicle, and we actually use it for practical purposes here at the channel. So we'll keep it, but will I buy another one? Maybe not. Yeah. So anyway, tell me in the down below if your country or your region or your city has a right to charge, and what that legislation looks like. Are there any caveats? I mean, like I say, here in the Pacific Northwest, it looks good on paper, but when you try to actually do it in practice, it's actually pretty naff. Tell everyone about it in the down below. Remember to stay civil. Remember to put your listening hats on and listen to what other people have to say. I've noticed some people are getting snippy in the comments lately, including me. I don't mind admitting it. So let's try and tone it down a bit and all be kind and civil and nice to each other. Thank you very much for watching today. Thank you for being the positive change that we need to see in the world, and thank you to the amazing list of people scrolling by on either side. They are the reason that we are still here. While our income hasn't really dropped in the last 2 or 3 years, we've actually managed to keep our income pretty consistent, thanks in part to these amazing people. The cost of doing things has soared ridiculously. Insurance, all of the incidental things, like software, insurance, repairs, tax, all of that stuff has gone up, and I've had to meet that head on, and it's been painful. And as we go into our triple pay month, so for those who don't know, normally in the US you pay people every 2 weeks, and April is the last month before a triple pay month, which is May. So I've got 3 lots of pay instead of 2 lots of pay, which means that the bank account is going to be very empty. So we better not have anything break. So if you want to make sure that we have a little bit of funds in our bank account, please consider supporting us from $1.50 a month on Patreon, or perhaps joining us on YouTube, or sending us a Ko-fi, or just sending us an old-fashioned check. or heading to our swag store and buying something from our swag store. I would normally say like the t-shirt I'm wearing, but I'm not wearing a TE t-shirt today. I'm wearing one of my old Around the Garden t-shirts, so I can't share it with you and promote it. I know, bad planning on my part. I wore them earlier in the week, so, you know. It's an old t-shirt versus a dirty t-shirt. I'll take the old t-shirt. Anyway, remember to tell the people in your life that they are important to you if they are. Be kind. And until next time, keep evolving.